I'm Brett Latigo, fisheries biologist here at the hole drilling station. So I'm going to talk about some different ways that you can get through the ice. Obviously, when you want to go ice fishing and you get out on the ice, you have to get through it to get to the fish. So there are a bunch of different methods that you can use in order to get down to the fish. The most basic method is what's known as a spud bar. There's a safety strap, so if your spud bar doesn't have a safety strap, this piece is really important. This will keep you from losing your spud bar. But really it's just a heavy bar with a sharpened tip that you can use to chip through the ice. It's hard to get a uniform circled hole, so to get a hole that's big enough to get fish up through the ice, a lot of times I'd recommend trying to find holes that have already been drilled. So if you go to a place where they had people that were fishing the day or 2 days before, you can take those holes and just chip through them with this spud bar, and it'll easily get through a few inches of ice. And that way you'll have sort of an outline that you can get a more uniform, larger hole than just doing a hole by itself. So this is one of the more basic tools, but it can get you through the ice, and you can chisel a hole if you'd like to use that. They're also fairly inexpensive. Next we have a hand auger. These are great if you want to go out, it's a cold day and you'd like to get a little exercise. You also don't have to worry about some of the drawbacks of other tools when it's just pure manual labor that gets you through the ice. It's important that you cover your blades with a blade protector so that you don't dull them when you transport them, and having sharp blades is a really important piece to that as well. So you want to make sure that you buy a backup pair so that in case you dull your blades or hit something that you didn't mean to, or the cover comes up, you have something to put on. And then also remember to dry the blade after use. So don't just let it sit with the blade cover on, or you'll end up with rusty blades the next time you go out. So really there's a handle here. You apply pressure up here, and as long as you apply some pressure and you turn the handle, it takes a little while, but it'll get you warmed up, and it works really well. The larger that you get with these, the harder it is, and the bigger the blades you need, and the more manual power that you need. So if you plan to fish and want to drill more than 10 holes, I'd recommend sticking with a smaller sized hand auger. But you can get larger ones. It just takes a little bit more effort, and you might end up fishing in fewer holes just because of that. So there are other things that we have that tend to be a little bit more expensive, but are even more effective at getting through the ice. So here we have, it's actually an electric auger that has an adapted drill. So this is an electric drill like a lot of people have in their homes, but it just has an adapter with this auger attached to it. And the cool thing about this attachment is it actually has this piece on top that keeps the auger from going through the ice, because sometimes they can become unattached. And if this piece fell through the ice after you drilled your hole, your auger's gone. So I would definitely recommend having this safety piece here so that once you get through the ice, if this attachment ever does come off, you won't lose your auger. These are really great. It's extremely lightweight, so weighs maybe a little bit more than a pound. The heaviest part is actually the drill. The only downside is that when batteries get cold, especially these lithium-ion batteries, they don't work quite as well. So you want to make sure that you either take it off when you're not using it and keep it in your pocket, or I've also seen some people put hand warmers on them to keep them warm. And if you have a fully charged battery, you can easily drill 30 holes and keep things going, and it's pretty effortless. You want to make sure that you hold on here, and not all of these hand augers come with this extra handle, but I'd also recommend this because it keeps things from rotating and it's a little more sturdy. And then you just use it like a power drill. Turn it on. I applied almost no pressure there. You just hold it on the ice and it's really slick and easy. So really, these are really cool. Just the downside is that the battery life can be sometimes an issue. So that's that. And then we're gonna go with sort of the standard, the old gas-powered auger. This is heavy, so this probably weighs 3 or 4 times that of the electric auger. But they are reliable, and as long as you have enough gas and your engine works well, you can spend all day drilling holes. But it's fairly heavy, you got to lug it around, and you always want to make sure that you keep it upright gas can spill out. Nobody likes the back of their car full of gas scents. So either keep it in a sled most of the time, and just be aware that you're using gas, and you need to also carry around that thing. I'd get to know your gas auger before you use it. Each one's a little bit different, but they're really just a small engine that powers this drive. So usually there's a start button there. So that was really easy, not quite as easy as with the hand electric drill, but you can see how reliable that is. Easy to get a big hole without a lot of effort, and definitely the go-to for a lot of people that have been ice fishing for a long time. The last piece to this is you got to make sure you clear your hole. So once you get your hole drilled, you use this is something you can buy at most bait stores. You don't need something quite this advanced. You know, this will probably run $15 or $20. I've seen folks use a slotted spoon. It just takes a little bit longer. The bigger it is, the key is the longer or the shorter it takes. The key is you want to make sure that you have holes in it, so that the water can flow through, but that the slush you can take off the surface of the hole. So you're just going to stick it in here, scoop that slush out, put it aside, and this will keep your hole from freezing for a longer amount of time. It also lets your line slide up and down into the water a lot easier without having all these chunks of ice for your thin line to hit as it's going down. So it's really essential, and depending on how cold it is, you'll have to go back through and just scoop out the hole every once in a while and clear the ice. That's pretty much what we've got for hole drilling. So now at least you have a little bit of knowledge about the tools that you can use to get out and get through the ice and start fishing.